Hi everyone, it's me, Tim. Today I want to talk about quest types. What I mean by that is in a role playing game, you can often have a lot of different types of quests, and people talk about this a lot. Oh, I went on a kill quest, and I went on a collect quest, or I went on a fetch quest. These are all different types of quests that are usually implemented in a role playing game, and for different reasons, and I'm going to talk about why. But I thought about this because I recently made a video just about escort quests, which is one type of quest type. And I really doubled down on issues that arise from escort quests. And I realized, even though, okay, I'll admit I'm not a huge fan of escort quests, but I realized that a lot of these things apply to the other quest types. So I wanted to talk about them and explain, first of all, why all these fixes people were offering, they're possible, but why they may not have been done. But also, people often mentioned games that the entire game was focused on doing an escort quest. Like, I think Last of Us is that way, one of the Bioshocks is that way, that pretty much the entire game is designed around having this special companion with you. And I'm going to talk about that as well, because that's kind of part of what I'm going to talk about when I talk about the quest types. So let's first go down all the different quest types you're going to see in a role-playing game. And I think I got them all here. Leave me a comment if you think I missed one, but I think I got them all. The first type is a murder type. Murder is when you're told to kill a particular person or set of people, like by name, or it's a particular person. Even if they don't have a name, it's still a particular person. Like, go kill the bandit leader down by the river. And there's only one person down there named bandit leader, and you have to kill that person. Maybe you have to kill a lot of other people to get to them. Maybe you can sneak by them or whatever, but you have to kill that person. And killing that person is what moves the quest to the next stage, and you can go turn it in. Compare this with kill quests, which are usually go kill N generic things. It might be go kill 5 alligators, or it might be go kill 10 dragons. That'd be a tough quest. It doesn't matter what alligators you kill or what dragons you kill. Any alligator and any dragon adds to your counter, and when you get to the full counter, the quest is completed. Then there might be a fetch quest. Fetch quests are go get a particular item, like go get the rod of necromancy. Okay, now this can be a pure quest. You might have to go into a dungeon and find this item, which is just in a chest somewhere. Often you have to do other things to get to it. You might have to kill things, you might have to sneak past things, whatever. Or it may be that this item is on a particular creature, so you have to kill that creature, or you have to steal it off that creature. So then it becomes a slightly different kind of quest. Similar to fetch is collect. Collect is where you're asked to get N of any kind of generic item. Like you maybe said, hey, I need 5 alligator skins. Now you're going to have to kill alligators to get them, but not every kill of an alligator will give you an alligator skin. Everybody's done this type of quest where you have to get 5 alligator skins, and maybe you've killed 10, 20, 30, and you still haven't gotten your 5, and your friend got his 5 off the first 5 he killed. Collect quests may be pure in the sense of these items may just exist out in the world. Like they may be something you can harvest off a tree. Like, go get me 5 apples. Will do. Or go out in this field and find 5 flowers. Will do. But they can be combined, and frequently are, with kill quests. So you have to kill things to see if they drop the thing that you need to collect. Then there's a delivery quest. Deliveries are when you are given an item and told to take it to a particular place or person, and you have to get it there. Compare that to an escort quest where you're given a person and said, take this to a particular place or person. That's what my whole escort quest video was about, which is the pros and cons, and I think it's a lot of pros of doing escort quests. Then there are talk quests where you basically have to go talk to an NPC. These can be pure. Maybe you're asked to go convince an NPC to do something. Maybe it's like, hey, go convince the king not to declare war, or go talk to this merchant and get him to accept deliveries from this guy. Whatever. It can be pure talk. All you're expected to do is talk. But frequently it's a modifier to something else. Like, you may have a kill quest, but if you talk to the guy beforehand, maybe you convince him to take you on one-on-one. You don't have to kill his guards as well, or something like that. Then there are puzzle quests where you have to solve a puzzle in the world. Maybe you have to slide stones around or drop gems into things. These can be pure. You may be told, solve this puzzle, and then when you solve the puzzle, boom, quest complete. Very often, though, it's a modifier. You're sent to go fetch an item, and the item requires you to solve a puzzle. Is that a puzzle quest or is that a fetch quest? It's a puzzle and a fetch quest. It's a modifier. Similarly, timed quests, those are frequently modifiers on all the existing ones I just gave you. Like maybe you're told you have 1 day to kill 5 alligators, or you have 1 day to deliver this item or escort this person to this location. There occasionally you can have a pure time quest where you're basically just told you have this amount of time to get to the quest receiver, whether it's a race or whether it's they can couch it as a fetch quest, but you really you're not given anything to take there. It can be a pure time quest. You just have to do this thing in this amount of time. I think that's all the different types of quests I've ever seen in role-playing games. And let's talk about the pros and cons of this large variety of quests you can make. Well, the first pro, I think, is the obvious variety. Having a lot of variety in your game is fun. It lets you adjust pacing. It lets the player not get used to this monotonous, all I do is kill things. It's just a grind of killing things, or it's a grind of killing things and collecting what they drop, or it's just a grind of escort quests or fetch quests. Mixing them up, including combining several of those quest types together, makes games a lot more fun, and it makes the game feel like it has better pacing and never drop into some kind of drudgery. But more important than this, for games that have player agency, which I'm not going to define, I have a whole quest on player agency, I'll link it below. You need to have these varieties. You may be told to bring back an item which this bad guy has. Well, you can kill the bad guy and take the item, or you can try to pickpocket the item off of him, or you can try to bribe him into giving you the item. So there's a whole bunch of ways to basically get item X from bad guy Y. That doesn't detract from the player agency, but in order to do this, you have to support a great deal of quest types. The quest has to be solvable in multiple ways to support that player agency. So sometimes quest types exist because your design pillar is player agency. Quest types serve that design pillar. But now let's dive into the bad things about quest types or having a lot of variety. Every type I listed requires specific design for it, lots of code to support it, and then lots of debugging. The more variety you add means the more possibility that those types interact with each other and will require more debugging and then additional code. For example, just talking about escort quests, and people are like, well, just make them a special companion. And then they started listing all these things that special companion would have to do. Well, either they don't fight or they don't take damage, and they count affected by many spell types, but maybe they can still be healed, but they can't be paralyzed. They don't set off traps, but if they walk into some area with a trap, you have some way of getting them out of there. It basically creates all these special cases, and you better handle all that for your escort quest, because once you add an escort quest, you have to make sure that it doesn't cause any of these issues, which may mean going back to redesigning stuff, recoding them. A lot of this requires special art needs. Does the companion, does the escort companion look fundamentally different? Is there anything different on their character portrait or their character frame? Or when you go into their inventory, is there anything special indicating you can't do things with that? And by the way, if it sounds like I'm picking on escort quests, it's just because I did the video on escort quests. Take a look at quest items. Early in RPGs, if you were told to fetch an item or collect an item, it just went into your inventory, and if you accidentally sold it or dropped it, you had to go back and find it. And if you dropped it in lava or sold it to a merchant who clears their inventory every night, that quest may become unsolvable. That got solved by making quest items a special item. They look different in inventory. They have a different frame, or they have a sparkle on them. If you hover over it, it may say quest item. Quest items can't be sold. They can't be dropped. The only thing you can do is take them to whoever wants them and deliver it, which of course can cause its own set of bugs if you are making a game where anyone can be killed. If you pick up a quest item for Bob and then you kill Bob, and the only way of getting that item out of your inventory was giving it to Bob, you may be stuck with an item in your inventory forever, which is why quest items are often made to have 0 weight and not fill up any encumbrance, although they may still fill a slot. I've played games where quest items take up a slot and there are a limited number of slots. So anyway, you have to be careful about all of the extra bugs you may introduce just because you wanted to do something as simple as let's add quest items. Here's the real thing that everybody has to think of. Game players never think of this. Every single game developer has to. If your budget is fixed, which is 99.999999% of budgets, more of one thing means less of another. If you want all these quest types in your game and you want to support them all with all the additional design, code, and art needs that are going to come with them, and QA and debugging needs, you're probably going to have less of something else. I don't know what that something else will be, but it'll certainly be something that has to be designed, coded, or have art for. Maybe you'll have less creature variety. Maybe you will have less AI variety. Maybe you have less biomes. Maybe you have less props, but you're going to have less something. I did a video on Troika, why Troika games are buggy, and it basically boils down to, at Troika, we kept adding features, and we never told ourselves no. And most of our publishers not only didn't tell us no, but sometimes encouraged us to add all those features. But we didn't get more time to fix anything, so our games ship buggy. You can view it as we chose lots of features over bug fixing. And you're going to have to think of that. If you want to make games, think of that. Be consciously aware of that. You may choose, I'd rather have a buggy game with tons of features. That's your choice. But game players won't necessarily say, oh, I give that game a lot of leeway for its horrific crashing bugs and save game corruption because it has so many features. Another thing to think about is if you focus your game on only one type of questing, you can make that really awesome. Everybody talks about like the Thief games because they're all stealth. You're not supposed to be killing people. You're not supposed to be doing any other. You're not escorting people. You are stealing. That's what the Thief game is built around. The whole Last of Us game is built around escorting Ellie. If you make your whole game focused on one kind of thing, of course you can make it really good. And the cost of that, related to what I just said before, is all the other things become secondary to that. But also, here's another thing you want to keep in mind. If a main story quest is a particular quest type, you may have just prevented certain builds. So if in your main story, and remember, I define main story quests as ones every player has to do. If it's a kill quest or a murder quest, you've just removed pacifist playthroughs from your game. You've basically said this play style can't be done. If in a main story quest, you need to use magic to collect the item or to solve a puzzle, and it's a main story quest, you just said the non-magic player builds can't do that playthrough. You've removed a playthrough. So yes, when I talk about all the different builds you can have, they're related to your idea of what to do with quest types. And then finally, I want to touch on what to do when issues arise with implementing one of these quest types. One common thing that happened when I talk about escort quests is people simply turn them into a new type of quest type. A common one was saying, oh, an escort, when the person goes to get escorted, they go into your inventory. Congratulations, you've converted an escort quest into a delivery quest. So your game doesn't have escort quests. It just has delivery quests. Similarly, people said, well, when you get an escort quest, to prevent them from becoming a permanent companion, it's all also timed. Well, congratulations. You've modified your escort quest with a timer to solve the problem of dragging the escort everywhere but the destination you want to go. And timed quests are not liked by a lot of people. I always say, if you don't like a particular quest type, don't do it. You don't have to have all of them. Just remember that the more variety you have, the richer your game will be, more expensive it will be to make, but the richer it will seem. And also you support more player agency in your game. But if that's not one of your design pillars, feel free to take one of those quest types and go, I'm not going to do that in my game. I don't like those type, or I don't want to spend the time and therefore money it would take to implement that quest type. Anyway, I hope this touches upon enough of different quest types. If you can think of a quest type I left off, let me know. But I think in general, what I'm trying to get across is you kind of want to have enough quest types in there to support your design pillars, but understand that supporting all those quest types costs time and money.